Hello YouTube, this is Lord Zath bringing you another episode of Zath's Replay Theater. And in this battle, we are following a ranger. This is Znayut? And he's going to be kind of showing us some of the cool things about this, well, maybe cool things, I don't know, about this carrier. Oftentimes considered to be the most garbage ship in the carrier line, and at least for USN carriers. I picked this replay because, for one, I don't have a lot of carrier replays, and two, well, the Ranger just got changed, right? So let's kind of see what she's all about. I love the modeling. There's always something new I see, like right down there. That's kind of cool. You know, you just never know what you're gonna see with these ships, and I hope you don't mind. I just love taking screenshots of ships with of aircraft carriers because they're just so doggone beautiful. All right, so with that, now let's take a look at how this game is gonna play out. You'll notice that the Ranger has 2 dive bombers, 1 torpedo bomber, and 1 fighter squadron. And that is the only loadout that the Ranger can take. So you'll also notice this is a Tier 9 battle, which is of course what you don't want to see when you're in a Tier 7 aircraft carrier. So we see some initial spotting. I do like how you're being aggressive here with your spotting. You're trying to find out where's the enemy going, and I have a feeling you're about to drop on this Moss. I hope so. Moss does not have a lot of anti-air capabilities, so that's helpful. And you're doing a manual drop, it seems. Maybe you're a little behind on the torpedoes. We shall see. You've already moved off to something else, though. You noticed your... Oh, good hits! 2 torp hits. Nice. And causing flood. Time to bring in those dive bombers. You saw that Group 4 had kind of derped in, and you kept your fighter near the fleet, and look at that. Very fortuitous of you, because you now notice the enemy CV is trying to snipe you. Of course, you are responding to that threat, and you're like, oh yeah, that's right, I've got the destroyer to drop on. So what I would do right now is take those 2 dive bombers, and I would just auto drop the Moss, and then go back to dealing with these guys, because you want to get this Moss gone as quickly as possible. So one might kill him anyway. And oh, nice! There you go. First blood. Good job. Now, all right. So you're gonna engage those fighters. You're probably gonna take those fighters out, and of course, there are torpedo bombers there. I do like, by the way, how you are not sitting still. You're going at half speed, and this is something that I've gotten in the habit of doing as well, because when you're at half speed, once you get detected, you have the ability to turn much easier with your rudder, and that comes in very, very handy. So going for a strafe now. Oh, nice, beautiful strafe. The dive bombers are detecting you. Oh, he split. Interesting. Very interesting tactic by the Kaga. So the Kaga's got 2 fighter squadrons and 2 torpedo bomber squadrons and 1 dive bomber squadron. And what this captain did is they went 1 fighter squadron, torpedo squadron on either side of the map, with dive bombers in the middle. Kind of maybe a way to react to what's going on, and also maybe to detect a possible incoming carrier snipe from the Ranger. Good strafe there. One thing you might have noticed is that he initiated the strafe and then did another click closer, and you can do that as a fun little trick of getting the strafe to occur sooner, and that comes in really handy. And the other thing about the Kaga, so you notice there's a ton of bombers, right? The thing about the Kaga, though, is that it's got these bombers are lower tier. Oh, beautiful strafe. These are low tier bombers, and so because they're tier 6 bombers, they die very easily to anti-air, and of course in a tier 9 battle, I mean, that's really tough for the Kaga player. So I like how you're going in with your dive bombers and you're setting your torpedo bombers. I know what you're doing. You're probably gonna move your torpedo bombers to around here, and then boom, yep, there they go. And so what he's doing here is he's getting in a position with his torp bombers to drop towards the Benson and force the Benson to turn. And he's doing that, and the Benson just took two torps, and he's gone. Devastating strike. Very nice job. Definitely earned that. Now, despite you basically getting 2 out of 3 kills for your team, you notice how your team's not doing so well. One thing I'm not seeing is communication with the team about where you're trying to go. Maybe pinging the minimap, using the F3 key to designate targets, that sort of thing. Might be helpful. I don't know. But I know you're also doing so much here, right? So you guys now have parity of ships, and you have all 3 capture points, which is incredibly strong position. And down goes the Colorado, but it's a Colorado. It happens. Now this is a challenge, right? You got the Atlanta on the other side, which means you kind of can't get in there. But you're luring these fighters back so that they're in anti-air range of the Kid and the Ognivoy. Very smart. And now you're going in for the torpedo bombers. You're probably not going to get there in time to save Bismarck from those hits, but it's okay. You're still gonna sit on there and chew down his fighters. You've already taken out 24 aircraft now. That's incredible. 25. And this poor Fiji is definitely on his own, and I can see what you're doing there. You're looking to capitalize on this, right? The Chapayev is forced to turn away, and because the Chapayev is turning away, you don't have to worry about his defensive fire. So, it's an interesting idea of having your planes auto attack and then manual drop as they get closer. This is something that I've never, I haven't really done too much of, and maybe this is something I should try doing. I usually, you know, I'll send my bombers to attack and then, or to go to an area, and then I'll just kind of forget about them, and then they get all chewed up and stuff. So maybe that's something that I should do. Yeah, look at that. You got the Fiji that way. Wow. That's 3 kills now, 52,000 damage. And I like how you recognized where your stronger force is, and you moved the carrier to it. And that's an important thing a lot of carrier players don't do, is they don't put their forces near, or their carrier near the friendly force, and as a result, if you were still up here, if the Ranger was still up here, 1, they're a severe, easy target to these ships that are moving up. But 2, it takes that much longer for planes to get back to the carrier to reload. So by moving your floating airfield closer, you're able to get your aircraft back up quicker. And you're bringing in your fighters to rearm, which makes perfect sense. And now it's time for those bombers to come back up. Interestingly enough, you're still kind of down on ships, which is unfortunate. Basically now it's just this one side left. The other side has managed to kind of blow through it like a bulldozer, and unfortunately nobody's really been able to stop that. Taking a couple hits, but that's to be expected being that you are detected now. And that Bismarck is not looking so good, but we'll have to see what happens here. Looks to me like you're planning on dropping this Chapayev because the Chapayev is low health, so that's going to be the biggest impact for the team. Plus, the fighters were over by the Bismarck, so that should be a good sign of, obviously you don't want to send your bombers unescorted. And you're looking at the Hipper there as your first target. You definitely, I like what you're doing. You're recognizing the situation and realizing that you need to do something to kind of change the ebb and flow of the battle, and that's going to be going in there. Even though that Atlanta's in the cap circle and all that, you're going to have to do something to stop it. Unfortunately, the Chapayev has defensive fire going, just like the Atlanta used his defensive fire. But the important thing is that you obviously took out that North Carolina. You got a torpedo hit with a flood, and that flood is still going, by the way, on that, what is that, a Hipper I think you dropped? Still flooding. You might end up getting a Kraken out of this. Ooh, there goes the Bismarck. Whole lot of crazy going on. Unfortunately, those two destroyers are sitting in smoke and forgetting that Atlanta has this thing called radar. That's frustrating, but it happens. Flooding is done, so now it's basically... can you find this guy and can you hurt him? I don't like how your destroyers are kind of positioning themselves, or did position themselves. That's unfortunate because they're not able to get out of there alive. If the Mogami's running Hydro, which maybe it looks like it might be, and definitely the Atlanta with radar, that becomes a problem. So I see you're moving the carrier away, which is good. You're checking your position. This is something I struggle with. Sometimes I'll put the carrier out too close, and I won't, notice. It's very tough because you're always moving around and looking at other things. So yeah, can you bait the fight over the Atlanta? Looks like you can. And you're gonna go after that Hipper instead of the Mogami, hoping that Atlanta's got it, maybe? Nice. Personally, I probably would have gone after the Mogami just to help the Atlanta, so it doesn't get smacked by all those ships, but that's okay. And you can see the manual dropping there. He's constantly changing the direction of attack. Or not direction of attack, but just the location of the bombing. It's interesting how you're going around and you're attacking multiple targets simultaneously. I kind of like that because it means that they can't, these ships just can't, defend against one attack, really. It's both sides. And you've, again, dropped your torpedo bombers. We'll see if you get any torpedo hits. You do, and there's your Kraken. Nice job. Very nice job. In a Tier 7 Ranger, in a Tier 9 battle, you got a Kraken. 85,000 damage, and it is still ticking, so you might be getting a 6th kill here. Oh, Tirpitz, Tirpitz, Tirpitz. I like how you sent your fighters to defend the Tirpitz, because you know that is now your only hope, really, for keeping this game going, is keeping this Tirpitz alive. And we saw earlier, I didn't get a chance to comment, there was a torpedo bomber squadron that came into view, and I think that squadron only had one torpedo bomber. And what that means is that the poor Kaga has lost an awful lot of planes. You can see 37 plane kills so far for our Ranger. And there's the torpedo bomber squadron. Looks like the carrier is once again trying to snipe you. And C being capped tells us, of course, that Hipper is there. And your fighters say no. You will not pass. You will not get through. And he's trying to get your fighters to fight over the Hipper, which makes sense, but, I mean, whatever, right? At this point, I kind of agree with you. You can afford to lose a couple of fighters if necessary. Yeah. The big thing is, can you get this bomb hit on the Hipper before, and I like, yeah, you're attacking the scout fighter now, because of course the scout fighter is going to want to try to intercept your dive bomber, and it looks like you will get the reset, and if not the kill. Yep, and a liquidator too. Nicely done. And that Amagi is beached? Are you serious? Oh no. That's easy food for you. And now, take the carrier, and what I would do is I would run up the carrier and probably move him over here. Or maybe even into B at this point. Full speed, you are speeding up. Because yeah, there's nothing that can stop you at this point, except maybe the Amagi if you get spotted and stuff. And look at this Tirpitz. The Tirpitz is sitting broadside to the Amagi. Don't do that, Tirpitz! And this is just such an easy drop. I mean, look at this. I mean, the Amagi got a bunch of your planes. So I wonder if this Amagi is anti-air build. Oh, just missed that one torpedo. And of course, RNG says nope, which is very frustrating, but it can happen. Now, I do that too, but sometimes when I do that, I'll click too close, and then the bombers will kind of derp around one more time, and it's like, ugh, come on, bombers. This is a pretty awesome battle, man. 108,000 damage, and you still have more coming, because I know you're gonna drop that Amagi too, right? We'll see. Just so those of you guys who are maybe new to the channel, I never watch the replays ahead of time, and if somebody sends me in-battle screenshots, I don't even look at them. I try not to. If somebody explains what happens in the battle, I try to ignore it. And a lot of times, I don't even get a chance to do my recording until the weekends. So I try to go into this as blind as possible, kind of like how you are all looking at this, because I want to have the similar kind of reactions you know, that you guys are having. And this is such an easy draw for the bombers, and it looks like he dropped he used his DCP earlier, so that fire will probably stick. It's unfortunate you only got one, but you know, RNG says no again. And we haven't seen much from that Kaga's aircraft, so I wonder if the Kaga has just given up and quit, or what? Nice, you're getting complimented, and you definitely deserved the compliments there. What is the Tirpitz doing? Gonna torpedo down the channel. That might actually be in range, so that might work. But regardless, you're getting in position there. You haven't earned high caliber yet. I have a feeling it's coming soon. And I like how you're communicating with the Tirpitz, telling them, hey, you gotta do something. Nice bombs. And Torps are a little bit behind, in my opinion. But you might not have even needed to drop on them. I think you were gonna burn them out anyway. That's alright, though.
Enemy battleship foundered.
Alright, I would be launching Group 5 now, so that they clears the deck, so that Group 4 can land. But you might be looking to wait until you get all these in. You're communicating now with the team, of course. As the Tirpitz gets into B, that's it. I mean, you're supporting the Tirpitz. I mean, you could have sent your fighters to go scout and find where the Kaga is, but that doesn't matter. Keeping the Tirpitz alive is much more important. So I do like that you're kind of doing that. Now you're going off to do a little bit of scouting action.
Maintaining present course. Group 5 airborne. Standing by for instructions. Over.
And as we get into the last minute, just want to say thank you again for sending this replay at us, Mr. Znayut, or something like that. And I hope that people have seen this and realize that Ranger can be a force to be reckoned with. I definitely like how you used auto attacks and manual attacks as a way to keep the attacks coming. And I almost wonder if you were a strike carrier originally, if you played Strike Ranger. That's how I played it, and I just loved it. There's the Kaga. But the way that you were doing your attacks, though, that's something that I think I'm personally going to take away from this, and maybe I'm going to experiment with it a little bit and try to to learn how to do that more. So again, nice job. Only thing I would say is try to communicate with the team at the beginning of the match as well. A lot of players, especially when they see a ranger, right, immediately think that this is going to be a loss, garbage player, blah blah blah. And I think communicating with that with the team early on instills that sense of confidence in you as a carrier player, that you're not a potato, that you're there for the team, and that sort of thing. And I think that's really important to kind of set the tone, right? And maybe the players are more willing to work with you as a result. So either way, thank you so much for sharing this. This was a wonderful replay. So thanks, and rest of you guys, if you've got replays, send them to me. Games like this where you just do amazing things is cool, absolutely. I'm also looking for games where you don't know what you did wrong and you want to learn more about what you did wrong. So either way, send them to me. I'd love to take a look at them. Yeah, so as always, comment, like, subscribe, do that usual crap, and send me replays, and have a great rest of your day, everyone. And let's watch the end tick down. And you can see good game and stuff, and chat, congratulating each other. It's awesome. That's why I love this game and the community. Take care, everyone.